Hey. Here we are, another week of Allan Beswick and the late night phone-in, right across the northwest, as they say, particularly BBC's Radio Lancashire and Manchester. There's trouble coming here, said a Muslim taxi driver, and that's always a reliable source. How do, Jimmy?
Hiya, Alan. Hiya. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. What would you like to talk about?
Well, Alan, I thought this would interest you, but I want to talk today about the renaissance of radio.
Good Lord. Okay.
Yeah, well, you see, Alan, it all started really, I think, a couple of years ago, but 10 years ago, radio really was just for, people listening to it in the cars when the CD player had broke, do you know what I mean? And, but now, radio is making a big comeback, and, I think, Alan, that it's quite interesting, really, that a medium as old as this is now being embraced by more people than probably ever before. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you? Being a radio presenter yourself.
I'm not sure whether I would agree with it. If it is enjoyed by more people than ever before, then it might well be because there are more people than ever before.
Yeah, but I think you have to give credit to the internet and social media. And Alan, look, I know I've listened to your show many times before, and I know you're not exactly a spring chicken, and you don't really get Twitter and Facebook and everything, do you? So I think what you have to understand is that with the internet and with super fast broadband and social media, radio now is reaching an incredibly massive audience, but you can't just count them as you can't just count the listeners who are listening on a traditional radio set. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, people listen to the radio in a variety of via a variety of different machines. Indeed, people are listening to this right now, some of them on the television.
Yeah, exactly.
On Freeview, on 719. So, people do. They listen to it all sorts of different places, yes.
Yeah, I lived in Ireland a few years ago, and it was great. I had this internet radio. It was also a CD player and just a general media player, but I could tune into literally any radio station in the world. It was great. It was fantastic, and it made me, I didn't really get homesick because I like living there, but it was nice to be able to just tune into, Radio Manchester, Key, and all those stations, even though I was, technically in a foreign country.
What do you think the reason is? Assuming you have one.
Well, I think the reason, Alan, is the advent of social media, more people with more technology, good technology. The strides that companies like Apple and Google and Samsung have made in the last 10 years, even less really, is just incredible. 10 years ago, I couldn't have imagined in my head what an iPhone could have done. It was a mobile phone with buttons it was amazing to me. And now, and Alan,
but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many different ways there are to listen to something. It has to be something you want to listen to for it to work. So what do you think's happened in radio that, in your view, has caused more people to want to listen to it?
I think what's happened is, there's more of an open platform because, for instance, Apple, when they launched Apple Music a couple of months ago, I don't know if you remember that, Alan, but they launched Apple Music. It was, this streaming service that was meant to rival Spotify and, supersede it, really. And one of the main selling points was Beats One. Do you know what Beats One is?
No.
Alan? No, Beats One is the... worldwide, it broadcasts the same thing to everybody in the world who's got an Apple product. Radio station, I think Dr. Dre had something to do with it. You know who Dr. Dre is, Alan?
No.
You've heard of Dr. Dre?
No, I haven't.
No, Dr. Dre is a famous rapper and producer.
Okay.
I think he was involved in the launch, and there was Zane Lowe from Radio 1.
Well, I've heard of him. Or her.
You both worked for the same corporation, the BBC.
I don't think that's where I've come by the name, but yes, we appear to. Yes. What gender is that person?
Yeah, Zane Lowe is he's like one of the main DJs at Beats One.
Right.
And not only is it a way to discover new music just on your phone or iPad.
Yeah.
There's also an option. I don't know if you use an iPhone or an iPad at all, Alan. So
no, I use an iPad, but I don't listen to music on it.
Yeah, well, there's an option where you can actually, from the playlist of your own music, you can start your own radio station. Now, I've not tried this, and I don't think it holds any sort of, actual links between songs and stuff. But from to the best of my knowledge, Alan, you can sort of pick and choose music and then send it out to, all your friends, people in your contacts, and total strangers. And it's just, I don't know, I was reading something in the Radio Times recently, Alan, and it said, the headline was, "The future of music is ... radio." Well, I read it, and I agreed. It's incredible, really. I mean, what we know about modern media. I mean, television as a linear television.
Jimmy, this is on the edge of being interesting, but is this conversation going anywhere?
Well, yeah, Alan. I mean, I wanted to talk about radio because you're.
Well, you have, but then you very quickly got on to talking about the internet and making your own playlist and sending it to people, which I think is somewhat offensive thing to do, but there you are.
Offensive in what way, Alan?
Well, if somebody sent me their playlist, I'd think, what in the name of God, you think I've got nothing better to do than listen to this tosh? I'll pick me on, thanks, I'm a grown-up.
Well, Alan, I do agree with you to a point, because I've got some friends who are sending each other playlists on Spotify, which is basically what Apple Music wants to be, but it's an older application. And I don't particularly like what people recommend to me as a rule. But, I've got a lot of friends who do. So it's about sharing, I suppose. And another way.
It's about not having a life.
Well, it's music. Everyone listens to music, Alan.
No, they don't.
Don't you listen to any music?
Very,
Alan?
very rarely. Very rarely.
Well, how do you unwind then?
Not by music. I don't have to unwind that much. I'm not wound up.
Well, I say unwind. I just mean, music is something that everyone's enjoying.
No. There are very few pieces of music that are better than silence. Silence is a rare commodity these days.
Alan, it's amazing. I never thought I'd ever speak to a radio presenter who didn't listen to music. I mean, I know this is a call-in show and there's very little music, but that is, that's incredible to me. That your favourite noise is the sound of silence.
No, my favourite noise is no noise.
Well, exactly.
Or at least the noise I want when I'm being peaceful is silence. It's fabulous.
Well, yes, but I mean, Alan, I'm not saying you're old, but
I don't have any problem with being old. I promise you, it's better than being dead by a long, long way. I've heard.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you must be of an age. I don't know, maybe the 50s or 60s, where 7-inch singles, kids were buying them.
Yeah, I went through the 60s. I did all that. I enjoyed the 60s. I enjoyed the 60s music. And when I hear some by happenstance now, I think, oh, that's good. I remember that. Yeah. And when I sometimes play it, I think, oh, yeah. Well, that's good, that. But it doesn't beat silence.
It doesn't beat silence.
Not for easing one's mind. There's nothing better when you want to ease your mind than absolute silence, or as near as you can get in this modern world of ours. We're never short of noise.
So you'd say meditation, sort of, just total silence. You're there with your own thoughts.
I wouldn't give it the honour of calling it meditation. To be honest, I just call it shutting up.
Shutting up.
Jimmy,
Alan, I've got to respect that. I just thought, you have your finger on the pulse a little bit with how radio is actually making a comeback. I mean,
I'm not altogether sure that I do, but Jimmy, I hope it has, and I'm glad that you're glad. But it's been good to hear from you. How do, John?